Some Nollywood actors become famous, some become respected, but only a few stay relevant for decades. And Richard Mofe-Damijo, popularly known as RMD, is one of those rare actors Nigerians still talk about with respect. From old Nollywood classics to modern cinema, from acting to politics, from family life to producing his own films, RMD has kept finding ways to remain important. But what makes his story even more interesting is this: RMD does not even like being called a legend. He once said he feels that word makes it sound like someone is retired or past their prime. And honestly, when you look at his career today, you can understand why. Because RMD is not acting like someone who is done. He is still working, producing, reinventing himself, and now he has even brought his own son into a deeply personal film project. So today, let's talk about why RMD never really fell off in Nollywood. Hi guys, and welcome to Sisi. Do not forget to subscribe and watch the full video on Sisi. Today, we are talking about one of Nollywood's most respected actors, Richard Mofe-Damijo, better known as RMD. This is not just a biography. This is the story of how a man from Delta State became one of the most recognizable faces in Nigerian film. He stepped away from acting for politics, returned years later, and somehow still remained relevant. And with his recent film, Revelations, where he shares the screen with his son Tega, Richard Mofe-Damijo is proving that his story is still moving forward. Before we continue, this video is based on publicly available interviews, reports, and media profiles. Let's get into it. RMD was born Richard Mofe Evans Mofe-Damijo in Delta State. Before many younger fans knew him as the stylish older actor in modern Nollywood films, RMD had already built a serious career across different industries. He studied theatre art at the University of Benin and later returned to school to study law at the University of Lagos. He also worked as a journalist before becoming one of Nollywood's biggest names. And that is one thing that makes RMD different. He was never just an actor, he was a writer, a journalist, a lawyer, a public servant, and later a producer. So when people talk about his longevity, it is not just because he is good looking or stylish, it is because he kept evolving. Before the newer generation discovered him through films like The Wedding Party, Chief Daddy, Fine Wine, and The Black Book, RMD had already made his mark in old Nollywood. He appeared in major projects like Out of Bounds, Diamond Ring, Hostages, and many other classic films that helped shape Nollywood's early years. His screen presence was different. He had a calm confidence. He did not need to shout to own a scene. He could play a romantic lead, a powerful father, a serious professional, or a morally complicated man and still make the role feel believable. And that is why many Nollywood fans from different generations still recognize him. Older fans remember the classics. Younger fans know him from Netflix era Nollywood and cinema releases. That bridge between old and new Nollywood is one of the reasons RMD never disappeared from people's mind. But RMD's journey was not just acting. At one point, he stepped away from Nollywood to serve in government. He became special advisor on culture and tourism in Delta State and later served as commissioner for culture and tourism. For many actors, leaving the screen for that long can be risky. The industry changes, new faces enter, audience taste shifts, and sometimes when actors return, people no longer connect with them the same way. But RMD's case was different. When he came back, it felt like he never left. And in interviews, he has credited that comeback to grace, his love for the work, and his commitment to treating every job seriously. That attitude is one of the biggest lessons in his career. He did not return acting entitled, he returned ready to work. Now, this part is very interesting. Many Nigerians call RMD a legend, but RMD himself has said he does not really like that label. According to reports from his interview, he said the legend title can feel like a way of pushing someone into retirement as if their best years are behind them. And honestly, that says a lot about how he sees himself. He is not just holding on to past glory, he still wants to work, he still wants to grow, he still wants to tell stories. This is why this video is not just about celebrating what RMD has done, it is about understanding why he's still here. Because some actors become legends because they stopped. RMD is respected because he keeps going. Another emotional part of RMD's story is what he once shared about turning 60. He revealed that neither of his parents lived to the age of 60. His mother died at 59 and his father died around 57 or 58. He said reaching 60 felt like breaking a frightening family pattern. And that is why aging for RMD is not just about birthdays. It is personal, emotional, and survival. And when you understand that, you understand why he takes health, family, and purpose seriously. He has also said that family is his biggest achievement, even above fame and career success. That statement says a lot because for someone who has won awards, acted in major films, served in government, and remained famous for decades, choosing family as his greatest achievement shows where his heart really is. And now, RMD has taken that family connection into his work. His film Revelations became special because it features his son Tega Mofe-Damijo in his acting debut. The film follows Cassiana Vogue, a Nigerian immigrant in the United States, and explores love, infertility, emotional healing, cultural transitions, and marriage struggles. RMD described the project as deeply personal and said sharing the screen with his son was something he would always cherish. And for Tega, the film was more than just acting, it was a major father and son moment. This is why Revelations matters beyond the movie itself. It is not just another Nollywood film, it is RMD passing something forward. It is legacy becoming visible. It is a father sharing the screen with his son after decades of building his own name. That is powerful. One reason RMD has remained relevant is that he does not behave like someone trapped in the past. He works with younger filmmakers, he appears in modern productions, he understands social media, he experiments with cinema, streaming, and even YouTube style content. He has spoken about appreciating younger creators because they are more experimental and less afraid of trying new things. And that is another reason he never fell off. Some older actors struggle because they want the industry to remain the way it was. But RMD seems to understand that Nollywood keeps changing. And instead of fighting the change, he adjusts. That is a major reason younger audiences still know him today. When you look at RMD's filmography, you see range. In Diamond Ring, he gave old Nollywood one of its memorable father roles. In The Wedding Party, he brought class and presence. In Fine Wine, he showed that older actors can still carry romantic stories with maturity. In The Black Book, he stepped into a much darker, action-heavy role and reminded people that he could still surprise them. That is what keeps an actor alive in the audience's mind, not just being famous, but being able to make people say, wait, RMD can still do this? That is the kind of relevance many actors want, but not everyone achieves. So what is the real secret? It is not just looks, it is not just fame, it is not just old Nollywood nostalgia. RMD stayed relevant because he kept changing without losing himself. He moved from actor to public servant, from public servant back to actor, from actor to producer, from classic Nollywood to modern cinema, from solo career to family legacy, and through all of it, he kept the same calm authority that made people respect him in the first place. That is why Nigerians still pay attention when RMD speaks. That is why people still search his name. That is why younger actors still respect him. And that is why his career still feels alive. Honestly, RMD's story is one of the best examples of longevity in Nollywood. Thus, many actors become popular for a season, some dominate for a few years, but staying relevant across different generations is not easy. RMD has managed to remain respected by older viewers, familiar to younger viewers, and useful to the industry itself. And now that he is telling more personal stories and bringing his son into film, it feels like he is entering another chapter, not the end of his story, but another chapter. That is why calling him a legend may be true to fans, but to RMD, maybe it feels too final because he is still working, still learning, still showing up, and still proving that age does not have to mean retirement. So tell me in the comments, why do you think RMD has stayed relevant for so long? Is it his acting, his personality, his discipline, or the way he keeps reinventing himself? And what is your favorite RMD movie of all time? Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Sisi, and turn on notifications for more emotional Nollywood stories, celebrity facts, and entertainment commentary. I'll see you in the next video.